It takes serious drive and a healthy dose of chutzpah to make a living as a musician, collaborating with others to bring music to life. It takes even more courage to compose original works, hoping they'll grow legs and see the stage more than once. It takes real vision to champion your colleagues' music, shining a spotlight on their compositions and helping them reach new ears. This weekend, on Friday, May 23rd and Sunday, May 25th, the Contemporary Music Interactive launches its inaugural season with 2 bold and exciting concerts. Each program will feature works by 4 young Manitoba composers, for a total of 8, offering a glimpse into the province's next wave of creative talent. Spearheaded by violinists Sophie, Reimer-Epp and Sawchyn, these concerts promise an engaging and entertaining look at what the future of Manitoba composition sounds like. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio, I am joined by violinist and co-director of the Contemporary Music Interactive, Sophie Reimer-Epp, and composers Ari Hooker and Elisheva Schwartz, 2 composers who will have their works performed on the Friday, May 23rd concert. Hello to you all. So great to have you here.
Hi. Thank you.
Sophie, I went back when I was prepping for the interview and I listened to the conversation that you and River and I had back in January. And I was struck by this idea of doing it now, not later. It was something that really came through in the conversation. Can you talk about how you got the idea for the Contemporary Music Interactive?
For sure. So I think the conception of the idea actually happened at Rosamunda summer program a couple years ago, and we were having a discussion with the young performers group about when you have a vision for something or you have a dream for something now, what's stopping you? Why would you wait until later? You should just go for it now because, we all love to be supporting our colleagues and supporting young people in the arts. And so, now's the time to do something. And that kind of just sparked something for me. I've always really loved new music and performing new music. I'm not a composer myself, but you need the composers to have new music to perform. And so it just kind of triggered something in my head and thinking about, how can we get more young composers and young performers on the new music stage? So then thinking about that, I talked to my colleague River Sawchyn because I know that he's a composer and a performer and is, passionate about the same things that I am, and things just kind of started happening from there.
It's such a great initiative, and one of the places that you and River approached was Winnipeg's Groundswell. They've been helping you with the project. Was there anything that Groundswell brought up that made you go, oh, right, I forgot about that. We need to think about that. Can you talk about their support a bit?
Totally. So we are so grateful to be supported by Groundswell's Ground Floor Initiative. This is an initiative that they have that is supporting projects like ours that are starting for the very first time and needing support. Not only are they supporting us financially, which is huge, they're also giving us some mentorship and advice, which as young people starting a new organization, that is so valuable because, when you're doing every aspect of the launch yourself, there's so many questions that come up. And so that's been fantastic. I mean, right off the bat, we had to submit for them like our budget and a pitch with really fleshing out all the details of our project, which this was the first time someone had asked us to really put that on paper. And so that was super helpful in terms of giving our direction and clarifying our vision.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's something that as artists, you very often have to get used to. It's simply writing grants and how to pitch to people so that you can be funded. In the 2 concerts, there is a lot of music for strings. I know that that's something that you and River wanted to focus on for this inaugural season. Of the 8 compositions, there are 5 string quartets. You and River are the 2 violinists in the quartets. Yep. How is it learning all this new music, especially with your studies that you're finishing up at the University of Toronto?
It's so fun. I mean, this is why we started this, because we wanted to have an opportunity to perform more new works and to, get more new compositions on the stage. And so our rehearsals have been starting this week, and it's been just a blast to explore each piece because, all this work that he and I have been putting in and all up until now, it's been all the logistical stuff. And now we finally get to do what he and I truly love the most, which is the performance of the music and diving into it with our performers and composers.
Fantastic. Last week I had River and 2 of the other composers in the series, Teresa Thorderson and Dylan Fitzhenry, on the show. And from what I recall, they heard about the Contemporary Music Interactive through social media. I'm going to ask the question, both of you, Elisheva and Ari, is that how you find out as well? Elisheva, I'll start with you.
Actually, I've known Sophie and River for many years because we grew up doing the Winnipeg Youth Orchestras together. So we've pretty much stayed in contact, and I saw River at Orford Summer Music Festival last year, and he mentioned the idea and said, if you have anything you're working on, expect to maybe hear something by Christmas and see if you can submit. So I had that in mind throughout the school year, and I worked on something with my teacher and submitted it, and I'm so happy to be playing on Friday my piece with Ari.
Ari, I'll turn it over to you. How did you hear about the Contemporary Music Interactive?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Just knowing River and Sophie from the Winnipeg music community through various things, Rosamunda and chamber music and stuff like that.
I do want to ask about social media. I was on Facebook, and there's a page for the Contemporary Music Interactive. Back in my day, if you were putting on a concert, it was all about putting up posters wherever you could and where it was legal, that wouldn't get taken down, talking to friends, getting the word out. I'm going to ask the question of all three of you. Is social media really helped promote the concert and help promote your own compositions? Ari, I'll start with you.
I'm a little bit on the fence about how much it actually helps, to be completely honest. From my own experience in promoting my own concerts and works, I don't think the amount that I put on social media actually reflects the amount of audience I get. I think word of mouth and physical things are still probably the best way of getting the word around about something small like this. That's just my personal opinion on it.
And Elisheva, how about you?
I'm almost off social media completely, so I'm not the right person to ask about it. But maybe I'll pass it to Sophie.
Yeah. Well, the social media promotion has been a big aspect that we've focused on with CMI. Our target audience is young people. We really want to have young people in attendance and, helping people who have not heard about contemporary music before to learn about it. And so we have put a lot of focus on promoting on our social media. I'm with Ari. We'll see this weekend about how that will reflect in terms of audience numbers, but definitely in terms of getting the word out, having people know our name and know what we're doing. I find that it is super helpful. People that I meet who I haven't seen in a long time, they're like, oh, hey, I saw your post about, CMI, and that's so cool. And so I found that it definitely does help get the word out in that way. Yeah,
I've heard of concerts being completely sold out, and they did no paid promotion. It was all done through social media. One of the other things I find that's so interesting about CMI is that it's not only about the music. There's a portion of the concert where the composers get to talk about their music and take questions from the audience. Sophie, when River was in last week, he talked about meeting the composer being as important as about the music. Why for you was this such an important idea? And it was your concept, right?
Yeah. So I have found over my years of diving into new music that the more you get to interact with the composer and the closer you are to the source of the material you're playing, the more accurately you can reflect the vision for what the composer had in mind. Often with new music, there will be pieces that the text can't fully represent what the composer is asking for. And so being able to interact with the person who had the vision and ask them, oh, I see that you wrote this down in this way, is this the sound that you were wanting, is just so helpful in terms of understanding the piece and executing it to its fullest potential. So then when we're thinking about how do we get audience members really hooked on what they're hearing and really understanding, because sometimes if they're hearing something that they've never heard before, how are they supposed to know if no one's going to tell them what's happening? So that's why we wanted the composers to have such a large role in the concerts, was to give people that inside look into this is how what I'm hearing came into being.
And sometimes, very often, the personality comes through in the music as well. Elisheva and Ari, are you mentally preparing what you're going to say before the work is performed?
Yes, absolutely. We were tasked to submit our presentation in advance so that we wouldn't just be, spawning off. Yeah, so I think that's helpful. And we'll have a dress rehearsal actually for our presentations as well. So that will be interesting to hear what the other composers have to say.
Ari, how has it been preparing for that?
Yeah, it's a lot of just collecting thoughts that have sort of been swirling around your head for a long time, specifically like about the music. You have the ideas for the music in your head, but you have to find a way to communicate that with words to the audience, which is an interesting process.
On the concert, they're going to be performing the first movement of your piano quartet. You had a concert of your own works not that long ago, very recently. First of all, how did that concert go?
It went well, yes. I was super happy with it.
Is it the same performers for this concert, or are you going to have different performers?
It is different performers. So it's me and River is playing the violin part, and then Soren Lawrenson is playing viola, and Juliana Morose is playing cello.
So how is it hearing different performers interpret that music?
I will know in about 20 minutes. we haven't had our first rehearsal yet, but it's in about 20 minutes, and yeah, it's going to be super interesting. It's definitely a first for me, having a piece performed by a different group,
and just hearing a different take on it.
Yeah, so it's just going to be a super interesting experience, I think, and I'm excited to see what the new members of the group are gonna do with it.
Can you talk about the inspiration behind the piano quartet? I know it's a work in progress.
Yeah, there wasn't really a specific, extra musical association with it. It's definitely absolute music. It was kind of just from, the love I have for chamber music. I just wanted to write a piece for an ensemble that was bigger than, a duo. And that's kind of how it came to be.
Elisheva, you're currently studying cello at the University of Ottawa with Paul Marlene and composition with John Armstrong. You alluded to it earlier. Did either Paul or John give you tips or ideas for the two pieces? And can you talk about them a bit?
Yeah, honestly, it was a pretty internal process. And with composition lessons, often you don't, well, in my experience, you're not so much getting guidance as to what you should do, but just more of a reflection of how it sounds to the teacher, and if there are issues with the flow. So the style was basically left up to me, and my composition professor told me that it sounded like Gershwin multiple times. So I guess that was the influence, although I wasn't, aware of it when I was writing. So yeah, but I did try to use kind of rich harmony like Gershwin. I love, jazz and jazz chords, a lot of seventh chords. And I also just wanted to write a beautiful melody that I could play on cello, because that's always fun. Yeah.
Did Paul Marlene, did he have any thoughts? Like, have you played them for him?
I did play them for him, but I never got to play it with piano, so I don't think he got the full experience, because the harmony does really sell it. So yeah.
It's going to be great. This has been so wonderful. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking what you're all looking forward to most about performing on Friday night. Sophie, I'll start with you.
Oh, I don't even know where to begin with that question. It's been such a journey getting to this point. It almost doesn't feel real that the concerts are happening this weekend, but I'm really excited to have the audience that we have been dreaming of with this project, to have them finally in the house and have performers on stage and be presenting the music the way that we've been envisioning. I'm just so excited to see all of it come together.
Now, Elisheva, how about you?
This might sound strange, but I'm actually excited to play for my family, because bizarrely, you don't, even as a musician who composes, you don't actually have that many opportunities to play. And so, my family knows I'm composing, but they don't really know what I've been doing. So thank you to Sophie and River for organizing this.
Absolutely. Ari?
Yeah, just, honestly sharing the gift of music with colleagues, with the audience, and new music at that no one has heard before.
Just getting it performed. Sophie, Elisheva, and Ari, this has been so great to have you all in today to talk about the Contemporary Music Interactive's concerts on Friday and Sunday. All the best. And Sophie, a big kudos to you and River for spearheading this initiative and getting the train moving down the tracks. Big congratulations to you both. And thank you all for stopping by and talking to me today.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you.
For our Classic 107 listeners, the CMI inaugural concerts take place on Friday, May 23rd at 7:30 p.m. and on Sunday, May 25th at 2 p.m. For more details, visit cmiwinnipeg.ca or go to classic107.com. I have embedded a direct link to the show page in the article about the concerts, so you can find up there now. Ari, Sophie, and Elisheva, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.